Hello, everybody. It's the real Pat Man here. Just coming to you guys with another quick video. It's talking about contracts and stuff like that. Uh, yeah, if you haven't been on social media lately, particularly Twitter, uh, there's a very, very, very heated debate going on right now, as it pertains to the future of Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan. Right. So there's a crowd that appears to be pro Matt Ryan that thinks that you can kind of play with him for the next 5 years. Then there's a crowd that's anti Matt Ryan. A lot of guys that typically want to try to get him out of here as soon as possible, whatnot. Then there's those guys that kind of fall in between. But the controversial thing is, right now you really can't be in between with Matt Ryan, which is kind of the annoying part. So I just want to look at some contract things and just kind of talk about what I believe is the best course of action for the Atlanta Falcons, kind of sort of based off history, if you would. So real quick, if we're looking at Matt Ryan's contract right now, or what's left of it, Matt Ryan will be 36 years old in May. So prior to the start of the season coming up this year, he'll be 36 years old. This is the last year that he has any of his salary guaranteed. This year he has $5.5 million guaranteed of his salary. And obviously he has his prorated bonus. Now, the Falcons have a ton of options when it comes to this, right? They could restructure Matt Ryan, maybe restructure some of his base salary, turn to a signing bonus, to try to kick some of the cap hit down the road if you want to open up immediate cap to help their team out, as far as depending on where the cap number lies this year or whatnot. So the interesting thing that I want you guys to realize about Matt Ryan's deal, and I kind of use track as well, to kind of sanity check myself sometimes, just kind of compare and contrast. But these roster bonuses right here, right? So you see that for 2022 and 2023, which are the last 2 years of Matt Ryan's deal, he has a $7.5 million roster bonus that becomes guaranteed on the third day of the league year of those respective years, right? So what does that mean? Well, if you're looking at the structure of his deal currently, like I say, all guaranteed money as far as salary is up after 2021. You go into 2022, his salary is not guaranteed anymore. The only thing that's guaranteed for Matt Ryan going into 2022 and 2023 are these prorated bonuses here. Now, again, if the Falcons restructure his deal, this number is going to go up because of the restructure, right? But if they say, hey, if they don't touch Matt Ryan at all, right, these numbers here stay the same. Now, again, like I just said, if Matt's on the roster the third day of the league year of 2022 and 2023, he will get this $7.5 million in terms of roster bonus. Why is that important for Matt Ryan? I'm of the camp that the Falcons should 100%, explore the options as far as drafting a quarterback with the number 4 overall pick. And the reason why, and I continue to push this, man, folks are going to say what they want to say about me. It's roster flexibility with Matt Ryan, right? Because we see time and time again where teams are a year too late trying to move on from a quarterback. And by the time they actually get his replacement in the door, now the roster has started to disintegrate around that old aging quarterback. And they see, that coaching staff, that regime is looking potentially getting fired by ownership. It happens all the time in the league. It literally happened to the Giants. It literally just happened to the Chargers. It happens a lot, right? Now, there are certain circumstances in which you can keep a guy. If he's performing at a high level, you keep him. Look at the Packers, man. Aaron Rodgers is what, 37 years old, right? He's playing at an MVP level. He's probably going to be the MVP this year. So the Packers have the flexibility to look at Aaron Rodgers and say, "Hey, we're going to keep you here another year." Now, if his play starts to decline, that have the option, they have the flexibility to say, "Oh, we can move on from him." You don't back yourself into a corner just for the sake of, you trying to milk the last little bit of years out of a player. That's not how the NFL works. The NFL is about winning football games. The NFL is about getting to the playoffs and winning games, right? No team, for the sake of a player, is going to put themselves in a predicament where they cannot move on from the player. And new Falcons GM Terry Fontenot mentioned this at his press conference when he said, we don't want to make a decision in 2021 that's going to affect us in 2022 and 2023. And it's odd that he mentioned those exact years because, again, you could 100% max restructure Matt Ryan, try to open up some cap, man. Maybe you try to push for a playoff spot in 2021. But that's what you do. You make it very difficult to move on for number two in 2022. And you can move on from in 2023, but again, you're making it a little bit difficult because of uh the amount of money that you're basically pushing down the road that you're gonna end up having to pay him regardless. So that's just all I want to show you guys, man. Just looking at Matt's deal. Um, this was by design, right? So when the Falcons and Matt Ryan negotiated this deal, when his representation negotiated this contract for him, they knew based off history that the vast majority of quarterbacks, when they get to this 37, 38-year-old range, their play starts to diminish a lot. It's not something that's going to be gradual, right? It literally is going to be a cliff. I'm sorry to tell folks this. This is what happens to most quarterbacks, right? One year they'll be straight. One year they'll be good. You're like, all right, a tweak here to the roster, a tweak there to the roster. We can get the most out of this player. And what happens is uh it's unforeseen, man. They'll come in there and they just look tired. They'll look beat up. They can't make the throws anymore. We all know that Matt's career has never been predicated off of his ability to throw the ball. If that makes sense, that's never been something that Matt's never been a big arm type of guy. Not saying that he can't make a lot of those throws, but that limited arm strength is going to diminish as he gets older. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a cliff. Where one day he's gonna be good. He's gonna like, hey man, we can make this work. And the next year he's gonna become a liability to your offense. Where he's gonna start throwing a lot of interceptions because he can't get the ball. He can't push the ball outside the numbers. He can't push the ball downfield anymore. And it's gonna be a really, really bad sight. A lot of people don't understand what this looks like until it happens. But it happens all the time in the NFL. So that's just my opinion, though. Uh, like I say, man, be really smart if the Falcons were to kind of get ahead of the situation, give themselves some cap. Not really cap. Well, you could say cap, but give themselves roster flexibility, man. That way, if this man here, if he balls out, that's a 2022 problem. If Matt Ryan comes out here and he puts a 35 touchdown, 7 interception season again, and ownership and the front office are like, oh man, he still got the juice. Dude, that's why this roster bonus was built into his contract to allow for him to, hey man, we're gonna keep him for another year, right? Well, if he's just an average dude out there, he's more of a game manager. You're not asking him to do too much. He's kind of taking the ball out of his hands, trying to run the ball a little bit. Why are we gonna slowly allow the horse to die that way? You know what I'm saying? Again, man, we see this all the time around the league. The NFL is all about history. History loves to repeat itself. That's exactly the road. I says on social media, if you follow me, that's the same road that the Chargers went down, where they thought that, man, if we get Phillip Rivers some protection, they give him another weapon and Mike Wallace, and they said, hey, man, we're gonna make this work, right? And lo and behold, the first 2 years are great. They had winning seasons back to back, made the playoffs the second year on Anthony Lynn. Then everything just kind of went off the rails. Next, Rivers walks in free agency, goes to the Colts. They draft Justin Herbert. Guess what happened? Anthony Lynn, he gets fired. He runs out of time. So that's all I got for you guys, man. Again, just looking at Matt's deal, man. These roster bonuses built into 2022 and 2023. It kind of tells you that, and the Falcons have already prepared for the eventuality that will be life after Matt Ryan. It happens to every single quarterback. They're going to get older and get to a point where they're no longer winning you games. I mean, you got to look at the biggest thing, and I don't want this to kind of be a bashing of Matt Ryan session. Look at the biggest thing is over the past 3 years, Matt Ryan, who arguably has the nickname Matty Ice, because he was arguably one of the most clutch quarterbacks during the prime of his career. When you're looking at number of game-winning drives he had, the number of fourth-quarter comebacks he had, in the past 3 seasons, he's only had 3 of those. He's only had 3. So, when the Falcons are put in a situation where they need Matt Ryan to be Matty Ice, unfortunately, man, he hasn't been able to do that. And there's a lot of other circumstances that go along with that as well. But to me, man, the thing that's really the biggest circumstance is age, man. It age gets to every quarterback. Matt gets hit a lot. Hits and age will disintegrate a quarterback's career overnight. It happens all the time around the NFL. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. Just tell me how you think in the comments. What you think the Falcons should do with Matt Ryan. And as the season goes on, man, I'll probably make some more videos to kind of look at some other stuff as well. But again, Matt Ryan should 100% be here for 2021, and the ball is in his court, man. If Matt performs, if he grasps Arthur Smith's offense and he takes it and he makes it his own and he's performing, no reason for you to get rid of Matt, even if you have a rookie on the roster. Just keep Matt, man. The Packers literally do this all the time, and yet and still, teams are looking and they're like, "Oh man, I don't know if we could do that or not." It's all about roster flexibility. All right, till then, man, I appreciate your time.